Hello. Um, Once again, 5 a.m. useless here. I actually meant it to be maybe earlier, but it's 5 a.m. again, so here we are. I bring you another run of Moonlight Village. Not a successful one, but a little more so than last time. Not while I have made progress from the last video to this video, this doesn't include all of my runs. A couple of ones before this that I did not record. I don't think I even made it past like the first phase or two. But lucky for us, this one turned out better, maybe? I think it was probably because these two fellow realmers here went for personal hard mode, I believe, right? So I assume they know what they're doing, and that made it a little easier. But without further ado, let's go. This time I was listening to a different Tatsuya Kitani song, which I will also link. It's a banger. I'm discovering all of his songs are just straight fire. So here's a familiar phase. Now I know to rotate. There's like slight variability depending on order of bosses and other factors, right? So I think there's more of these small leaves, because this time I was like, why am I getting sickened so much? Like, thankfully it wasn't like horrendous. Sicken is kind of my like main panic debuff, but I've learned to maybe chill it a little bit and not panic entirely. Now this one, of course we know this phase, sent me home the last time, I believe. Now, I think I was doing a little bit better. I'm not hitting like every single shot, but the funny thing here that I didn't notice while I was in, but noticed in the recording, Oryx, the minions have failed, happens here, so we get a little invulnerability at the very end, right? Which is lucky for me. I was sitting here like, wow, I'm doing really good, I'm dodging every shot. No, in reality, that's not what's happening. Somehow lucked through, and made it through that. You can see the little lag spike at the end, thankfully, after we've done it. But that timing, I think, really made it so that I actually survived. Not sure how it would have gone if that was not there. This phase I might have seen a bit. I don't know why I pulled that move and some other moves, but yeah, it's more of the like walls. I think the slowing is not great. I'm using health pods because I'm, not hitting the right caps. I'm clearly not going for the boss at all because I'm just fighting for my life here. But we made it through. This phase, I think it's not too bad. I saw one of my friends, former guildmates demo, shoutout demo, great player. He did this phase with 0 hits, very skilled. So I had seen that beforehand, and I conceptually was like, oh, okay, like, it seems pretty intuitive. I'm obviously, this is not a no-hit run from me, clearly, but I am surviving. Mostly, pretty fine. So, we'll take it. I think the phase is, like, less overwhelming, so you can, like, see what's happening, so it's not too bad, kind of. This one, I don't think I'd seen before. These, like, wave shots are interesting. I'm not quite sure the pattern, but they're kind of just, like, swirling around, and then I realized that they quieted, and I was like, oh, shoot. But, again, don't panic too much. Quiet, I think, also tends to set me in a panic sometimes, probably because I used to, or technically I'd say a main priest, and it's similar thing with Pally, is if you're quieted, you can't heal yourself. Now this phase I had come across in previous non-recorded run, and it did cause me to nexus, but I saw it and I was like, okay, like, it's understandable. It's looks like a very tight dodging pattern, and as you can see, I'm trying to like thread these tiny gaps, and I'm clearly not doing that super successfully, but enough so to survive. But yeah, I think the last time or the first time I did this, I just was running into too many shots, and then I got behind, and then behind the lantern, and I wasn't on it, and so I wasn't healing, and I was just dying. It's like, nope. Now this phase I don't think I've seen. First I was like, okay, you know, get the gaps in the circle patterns, and then the drum spawned like next to me, and I was like, wait, what? Where are these coming from? And then I was like, oh, okay, that's part of it. I guess with things like that, sometimes it's good to sort of stand, obviously not on it, don't get bombed, but like next to it, because then the shots will be radiating out from there, so as long as you dodge the initial blast, you're more in the clear. And now this phase that I did the last time, fine enough, usually a little messy with me, because it's not like, you know, it's like knife wall and stuff, like, go to the gaps, but the gaps are not at a like clean, you know, place for you to just follow a strict pattern. And if you're wanting to stand the lantern as well, and also avoid the wall of lightning. But overall, like, the thing is, like, you don't need to stay on the lantern 100% of the time, so you can move around, but you can see my judgment for, like, when to hop around is a little questionable, but surviving fine. Now this phase initially I thought was one that we saw last time, but then the crosses of lightning appeared, and I was like, oh, it is not. I think I might have seen this on a non-recorded run before. Overall, like again, conceptually in my brain, I'm like, I get it. But then sometimes there's just a few too many shots and I get a little overwhelmed. But this time, not too much. I don't know if I'd ever seen this phase, but it seems kind of like the water one we had earlier, where you want to, you know, rotate with the lantern, right? But there's a lot of shots and a lot of tight dodging, though this one is definitely less pattern-y, I guess. Like, there's a kind of clear rotate with the boss, but everything coming from elsewhere is hitting me a lot, but that's fine. It's fine. We're alive. Now this is one of those, this is like the final one, right? Of course it's second, which means I'm gonna do not very great, but I was trying. So obviously first thing I saw was the grid. You want to get into the safe squares, I can only assume, right? The drums are there and the boss is shooting. Now, like I said, conceptually understanding versus doing something like in person and actually in reality is much different. As you can see, I'm not that great at thinking in the moment, at least for this dungeon for now. But yeah, progress report, I guess. Yeah, so I still haven't completed in Moonlight Village, but that is the closest I've gotten so far. We might try a little bit more. But yeah, until next time then. Thank you for sticking this out. See ya.